to mythic sleep. I am young Homer, here to guide you deeper into the rise and fall of Zeus. Tonight, we continue Series 9, Weaknesses, Pitfalls, and the Slow Decline of Zeus, with episode 77, Ares' Rebellion, Chaos Unleashed. In this tale, we witness a rebellion from within the heart of Olympus. Ares, the god of war and son of Zeus, fueled by his fierce nature and hunger for battle, turns his wrath against his father's rule. Frustrated by Zeus's growing distance and the fading authority of the gods, Ares stirs chaos within the ranks of Olympus, casting aside loyalty for a thirst to prove his own strength. This clash between father and son reveals the unrest that brews beneath Olympus's surface, a conflict that shakes the foundations of divine order. As we enter this tale of rebellion and unrest, allow yourself to settle deeply into the warmth of your bed, feeling safe, supported, and calm. Close your eyes if you wish, and take a slow, deep breath in, letting calm fill your chest, as steady as the silence before a distant storm. As you exhale, release any remaining tension, allowing your body to grow heavy, sinking into stillness and ease. This is your time to let go, to rest, and to find peace. Now focus on the steady rhythm of your breath, each inhale and exhale as constant as the pulse of a quiet, restrained power. Take a slightly deeper breath in, letting it fill you completely, and hold it softly for a moment. Then, as you exhale, imagine any tightness dissolving, leaving only warmth and tranquility. One more time. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, feel yourself sinking further, calm and serene. Now, let's guide each part of the body to soften, inviting rest with every breath. Start with your forehead, allowing it to relax completely as you exhale. Move to your jaw, releasing any tightness, letting it rest gently. Now, bring awareness to your shoulders. Inhale deeply, then let them fall gently, like armor set aside after a long battle. Allow your arms and hands to grow heavy, resting peacefully by your sides. Notice the steady rise and fall in your chest and belly, inhaling as your belly rises, and on the exhale, releasing any last bits of tension, feeling light and free. Shift your focus to your hips and thighs, letting them sink deeper into the bed, fully supported and relaxed. And finally, bring attention to your calves, feet, and toes, allowing them to release completely, grounded and calm. Now, imagine yourself within the grand halls of Olympus, where a tense silence fills the air, thick and heavy, In the distance, you see Ares, his form fierce and unyielding, his gaze intense as he confronts Zeus. Sparks of defiance fill the air around him, as though the very spirit of battle has come alive, challenging his father's rule. Zeus stands firm, yet even he feels the tension of a kingdom stretched thin by power and pride, the loyalty of Olympus shaken like the fragile edge of a sword. With each breath, feel yourself surrounded by the strength of this moment, as though you too are part of the quiet resolve to find peace amidst chaos. Inhale deeply, letting the calm and power of the scene fill you, and exhale, feeling grounded, steady, and fully at ease. With your body relaxed and your mind open, allow the story to carry you into this world of conflict, strength, and resilience, where even gods must face the trials of family and loyalty. Take one last deep breath in and let it out softly. Now, let us begin. Ares, the god of war, had always felt a disconnect with the other gods of Olympus. Unlike his half-sister Athena, goddess of strategic warfare and wisdom, Ares embodied the brutal, chaotic nature of battle. He gloried in the raw energy of conflict, the thrill of bloodshed, and the unrestrained passion of combat. Yet he was frequently overshadowed by Athena, who was favored by Zeus for her calculated approach to war. To Ares, this favoritism felt like a betrayal, a dismissal of his true nature in favor of restraint and discipline. As Zeus's rule grew increasingly restrictive and mortals turned away from Olympus, Ares felt the sting of rejection even more. Mortals no longer prayed to him as fervently as they once did. They no longer sought the blessing of unbridled strength and fury in battle. He felt his power slipping, his purpose diminished in a world that was moving beyond the ancient ways. Ares watched as mortals fought their own battles, relying less on the whims of gods and more on their own resolve, a shift that further fueled his frustration. Seeing himself as both disrespected by Zeus and forgotten by mortals, Ares' resentment grew into a smoldering rage. He believed that he alone could restore Olympus to its former glory, where gods ruled with fear and strength, not distant restraint. And so Ares began to entertain a dangerous idea, a rebellion, a battle that would remind both gods and mortals of the power of chaos. For Ares, this rebellion was not just about control. It was a battle for relevance, a chance to reclaim his place as a god feared and revered. Ares knew he could not challenge Zeus alone, so he turned to the gods and spirits who felt similarly neglected or frustrated under Zeus's rule. He first approached Eris, the goddess of discord, whose very nature thrived on chaos. She agreed eagerly, seeing in Ares' plan a chance to spread disorder throughout Olympus. Together, they began to stoke the flames of dissent among the lesser gods and spirits, each one feeling the weight of Zeus's control in their own way. Hades, Lord of the underworld, watched the unfolding rebellion with interest. Though he harbored no loyalty to Ares, Hades had grown weary of Zeus's overreach, especially in matters of life and death. His resentment toward his brother's interference tempted him to stand by, allowing the rebellion to shake Zeus's rule without lifting a finger to stop it. Even Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy, found himself drawn to the rebellion, intrigued by the possibility of breaking free from the order and restraint imposed by Zeus's increasingly rigid reign. The lesser gods, demigods, and nymphs, feeling the strain of Zeus's control, began to lend Ares their support in subtle ways. Some provided resources, others offered safe passage for his followers through Olympus, while many gods stayed loyal to Zeus. Whispers of rebellion circulated through Olympus, each murmur strengthening Ares' resolve. In Ares' eyes, this gathering of discontented forces was proof that Zeus's rule was weakening, and that the time had come to embrace a new order, one forged in the fires of conflict. Ares' growing faction of allies made it clear this was not just a fleeting act of defiance, but a genuine threat to Olympus's stability. Zeus, sensing the unrest, summoned Ares to his throne room, intending to quash the rebellion before it could gain momentum. The king of the gods demanded to know why his son was sowing discord within Olympus, why he sought to defy the order that had been carefully maintained for centuries. Ares, unafraid, met Zeus's gaze with unbridled fury, his voice echoing through the halls of Olympus as he declared his intent. "You have grown weak, father." Ares spat, his words filled with disdain. "You prioritize peace and restraint over strength and fear. Olympus has forgotten the true nature of power, and mortals have turned away from us because they no longer see gods worth fearing. I will remind them of what the gods are capable of." Zeus's anger ignited like a storm, his voice thundering as he condemned Ares' insolence. But Ares, unbowed, challenged his father's authority outright, calling Zeus's rule into question. The tension between father and son exploded into violence as Zeus hurled bolts of lightning, and Ares answered with his spear and shield, clashing in a confrontation that shook the foundations of Olympus. Their battle, fueled by both personal grievance and a deep ideological divide, was witnessed by the gods, each one standing by with bated breath as father and son unleashed the full extent of their powers. Though Zeus ultimately overpowered Ares, forcing him to retreat, the damage was done. The open defiance of Ares against his own father had revealed a fracture in Olympus, a vulnerability in Zeus's rule. The gods, seeing Ares stand his ground against Zeus, felt the tension of divided loyalties, their respect for Zeus tarnished by the knowledge that his own son had dared to challenge him openly. Ares' rebellion, though suppressed, left scars on Olympus that would not easily heal, a testament to the god of war's enduring defiance. Though Ares' forces scattered, the seeds of rebellion continued to linger within Olympus. The gods who had once supported Zeus now questioned his ability to maintain order. Eris, though forced back into the shadows, spread whispers of doubt, sowing discord wherever she went. Hades, from his seat in the underworld, remained watchful, biding his time as he considered whether Zeus's rule was still worth respecting. Even Hera, Zeus's wife and queen of Olympus, felt her loyalty strained. Though she had long been at odds with Ares's chaotic nature, she understood his frustrations. She too had grown weary of Zeus's dominance, his unyielding control over their lives. Athena, who had always been Zeus's staunchest supporter, found herself troubled by her father's inability to foresee the consequences of his rigidity. Ares's rebellion had revealed a crack in the foundation of Olympus, a growing discontent that even Zeus's power could not easily mend. The mortal world, too, felt the effects. Tales of Ares's defiance spread, inspiring mortals who already harbored skepticism toward Olympus. The rebellion became a symbol of resistance against tyranny, a story that resonated with those who yearned for freedom from the gods' control. The divide between gods and mortals grew wider, each side feeling the ripples of a conflict that could not simply be forgotten. Ares's rebellion had left Olympus vulnerable, and the gods could feel the underlying tension simmering beneath the surface, ready to erupt once more. In the quiet that followed, Zeus found himself alone, contemplating the events that had shaken his throne. He had always believed that his strength would keep Olympus united, that his rule was absolute. But Ares's rebellion had shattered that illusion, forcing Zeus to confront a reality he had long ignored, that even the gods had begun to tire of his authority. He had overreached, asserting control not just over mortals, but over his own kin, and it had driven his own son to open defiance. Zeus realized that his need for control, his relentless demand for loyalty, had alienated those he had thought would be his allies. He could see now that his power, while vast, was no longer unassailable. The loyalty he once commanded out of respect was now tinged with resentment and fear. Ares's rebellion had been a warning, a reminder that even a king could lose his throne if he did not heed the discontent growing around him. Yet, Zeus struggled to change. His pride and authority were too deeply ingrained, his vision of Olympus too rigid to easily bend. He knew that his rule faced new challenges, that his kingdom was now a fragile construct, vulnerable to the forces of rebellion and doubt. Zeus's moment of reflection revealed to him the stark truth. His power was no longer enough to hold Olympus together, unchallenged. Ares' defiance marked a turning point in the history of Olympus, a moment when the power of the gods seemed less secure than ever before. The rebellion had been quashed, but its impact lingered, casting a shadow over Zeus's rule. Gods and mortals alike spoke of the clash, the sight of Zeus's own son challenging his authority, a sign that Olympus was no longer the unified realm it once had been. The gods of Olympus, once united under Zeus's leadership, now viewed their king with a sense of caution and skepticism. Ares's rebellion had emboldened others, showing them that defiance was possible, that even the king of gods could be questioned. Mortals, inspired by tales of Ares's resistance, grew bolder in their own lives, seeing in the god of war a reflection of their own desire for freedom from divine interference. The era of Zeus's absolute rule was ending, a new age of uncertainty settling over Olympus. The gods, divided and wary, continued to serve him, yet the loyalty they once held was tempered by doubt and resentment, and as they watched Ares, banished but unbroken, they knew that Olympus could no longer rest easy. The order that Zeus had established so carefully was beginning to crumble, and the forces of chaos, embodied by his own son, lurked ever closer. Ares's rebellion had left a scar that would never fully heal, a reminder that the gods of Olympus were as mortal in their pride and ambition as the humans they ruled. But Ares's rebellion was not the only threat looming over Zeus. Join us in the next episode as we explore Zeus's deepest fear, the prophecy that foretold he would be overthrown by one of his own children. Discover how this haunting vision shapes Zeus's rule, testing his resolve and further weakening his control over Olympus. Until we meet again, may your path be filled with peace, strength, and a touch of magic. I'm young Homer, and I look forward to our next story together.